Good evening. Welcome to Irish News. Today we will be talking about the devastating events that took place during the Irish potato famine. With us we have Jamie Seamusin. Who was there when this all occurred?
Hello, I'm very happy to be here with you, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to educate everybody on the details of this tragic event.
To start off with, can you tell us exactly what the potato famine is?
Well, the potato was the main food source for 1/3 of the Irish population. The potato's arrival helped double the Irish population from 4 million to 8 million. The potatoes suddenly turned black one day and started to smell. Nobody knew exactly what was happening or how they could fix it. 1/3 of the crop was lost in the first year alone. This number only escalated in the next few years.
How did this influence the population of Ireland?
Starvation combined with an increased vulnerability to diseases such as typhus, dysentery, and cholera devastated the population. It is estimated that between 500,000 and 1.5 million people died as a result of the famine, while over 1 million fled the country. By 1911, Ireland's population had dropped back to 4 million.
What effects did this devastating loss have on the economy and the living conditions of Ireland?
The horrible poverty really started to show itself. Many families were forced to bury their dead children because they couldn't afford to feed them. Mothers were begging the town for help to buy the coffins for their dead children. No one had any idea how to act in this situation. Such poverty had never been present in Ireland. Nobody did anything to help. The British government's actions were inadequate to the severity of this issue.
Was there any outside help during this rough time?
The British government tried to help by establishing public works schemes and road building projects in an effort to create employment so that some families got the money. The government also established emergency fever hospitals in Ireland to care for those who could not afford medical treatment. However, the British citizens thought that Ireland should be able to handle their own business, and if they can't, then that's their own fault.
Really tragic events occurred during this time period for Ireland. Thank you so much for coming today, Jamie. Phytophthora infestans. This is a disease that starts in the ground. It rots the roots. It mainly affects the foliage, stems, and potato tubers. This is the cause of the potato famine, or blight. It is a plant disease. There are many Irish people still suffering from the effects of this disease. We ask you call our toll-free number to make a donation to help the survivors of this airborne disease. They are in need of your help. Call 1-800-999-HELP. Once again, 1-800-999-HELP. Please call today.
Hello! Today on Irish News we have Nellie Flanagan. Welcome to the show, Nellie.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Today we are going to be discussing the potato famine.
Oh, that was such a sad several years.
Do you remember how it started?
Oh, yes, I do.
Care to tell us more about it?
Oh, I remember it like it was yesterday. You see, as an Irish person, the potatoes were a large part of our diet. My family and I were the richest people, so we depended on the potatoes.
Yes, my family did too.
Well, I remember coming out of the cabin, my cabin, to look at the potato garden. It was September of 1845. I walked over to my potatoes. The leaves were black, they curled up, and the potato was rotting.
The cause of this was the Phytophthora infestans. The disease was carried by the wind from England to Dublin. If one plant had it, in a few days thousands could be infected.
The crops failed for several years straight.
We're going to talk about the effects of the potato famine with Nellie. Thank you for watching.
Hello. To all the people of Ireland, first of all, I am representing the British government, and as the British government and from the rest of Britain, we ask you do not roam the countryside anymore. We believe that you roaming the countryside is a result of the Irish landlords and their decisions. to manage their estates poorly. I am here to announce something that can help the majority of Irish people. The Irish Poor Law Extension Act. This means all the relief funds from the potato famine will be covered by the Irish landlords and property owners. This is all. We will not partake in any further relief for the Irish people. Thank you.
We are back with Nellie. So Nellie, what happened after the famine?
Well, there were fewer people in Ireland. You see, about 1 million Irish people fled to the United States, where there wasn't a famine. They had a hard time there too, because the landlords had a very expensive room rate, and they didn't have a lot of money.
I see. But what was happening in Ireland?
Well, even though the famine was over, we were still living in a rough time.
How so?
Well, there was much to be worried about. You see, we were living at a cabin and renting it from a landlord, but they could kick us out if they wanted their land back.
So you feared being kicked out of your home?
Yes, we did. Well, starting in 1849 and lasting till about 1954, close to 50,000 families were evicted from their house. So we were worried.
That is a lot of people. Did you know anyone who was evicted?
Lots. You see, my best friend, my grandparents, my uncle, and my uncle were just a few who were evicted. But by 1903, my family and other families and other people living in Ireland were able to buy their own land. You see, even though we had our own land, the effects from the potato famine still weren't over. You see, world hunger, which is what we were going through during the potato famine, will last long into the future. So this is an ongoing problem, even though the famine is over.
I see. Thanks for coming on today, Nellie.
Thanks for having me. We'll see you next time on Irish News.